we've talked about the basic sign-up form, and it's not very not recommended for use these days. And we've talked about using a Mailchimp landing page as a better sign-up form. But if you do have your own website, then it's always better to have sign-up forms on your website, and using your website for landing pages, and having all sorts of different sign-up forms at the bottom of blog posts, all sorts of different places. So how do you get a sign-up form on your website? Well, there's a number of different ways depending on what your website is built on. My personal preference is to use WordPress because it's so much more flexible. WordPress is one of the biggest website building platforms available, and there are a range of different options and plugins that you can use that work with Mailchimp to sync data from WordPress to Mailchimp. Squarespace has a Mailchimp integration, which we'll cover at a later date. But when you start getting down to things like Wix, which is improving, but it's still way behind, it just doesn't have the support available to it. So I always recommend working with WordPress to build a website, just because of the amount of features that are available, and not just for WordPress, but for so many other things as well, like building courses, building membership sites, building databases, doing blogging. It's just, there's so much you can do with WordPress, and it gives us so much flexibility. So in the next few modules, I am going to go over 3 different plugins for WordPress, and then talk about using embedded forms. So if you're not using WordPress, you can use an embedded form on your website, and it's basically a little bit of code that when pasted into your website in a certain area, it shows up as a sign-up form, and that has interaction with Mailchimp. So we'll go over these in the next few videos.